Please stand as we welcome our special guests to the Assembly and the official party to the stage. Please remain standing for the acknowledgement of country and prayer.
Yamanginda Gulbi St. Gregory's College Go, Maramaga Gamlu, Tarawangini, Nini Gugu, Wayama, Yanara, Tarawa Wingelna, Gaya Nini Guali Boli Yulgi, in I by MBI.
Welcome everyone to St. Gregory's College. We collectively, as a Maris community, acknowledge that we are on the land of the Dharawal people, who are the custodians of this significant place. I also extend that acknowledgement to the Darug and the Gundungurra people, and other First Nations and non-Indigenous people who are present here today. Our community pays respects to the elders past, present, and to you, my fellow students at this college, for we are the future leaders. We recognise this as a meeting place and a place of learning for all. Walk with God.
We begin in prayer. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Our candle is lit as a symbol of his presence with us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God of hope, we come together today to give thanks for the gifts of the Year 12 High Achievers of 2020. Through their commitment and dedication to using their gifts, our high-achieving students have achieved great academic success. We pray that they continue to use these gifts, measuring their success not by riches, but by the joy that comes from using one's gifts in serving others. As they plan for their futures, may they be seekers of justice and work in praise for the glory of God and the building of his kingdom. St. Marcel and St. Gregory, Mary, our good mother, and let us always remember. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Please be seated. Good morning to all our guests who have joined us for this celebration of learning and achievement today. We welcome the following guests to our High Achievers Assembly. Brother Darren Burge, Vice Provincial of the Maris Brothers Province of Australia. Dr. John Robinson, Regional Director, Maris Schools Australia. Dr. Michael Freelander, Federal Member for Macarthur. Mr. Peter Sigreaves, the State Government Member for Camden. Councillor Shivers from Campbelltown Council and her husband, Mr. Graham Shivers. Mrs. Belinda Jardine, College Advisory Board Member. Our College Principal, Mr. Lee McMaster, and his wife, Mrs. Sue McMaster. Members of our St. Gregory's College Maris Brothers community. Members of the college leadership team, staff, students and parents. We extend a very special welcome to our 2020 Year 12 students who have achieved outstanding HSC results, as well as their parents and family members who are able to be with us today. Apologies for today's gathering have been received from Dr. Frank Malloy, National Director of Mara Schools Australia, Brother Robert O'Connor, Mara Schools Australia, Brother Bruce Hanrahan, Chair of the College Foundation, Mr. Tony Clark, Mara Schools Australia, Mr. Craig Braithwaite, Director of College Foundation Board, member of the College Advisory Council, and his wife, Mrs. Tracy Braithwaite. The purpose of our assembly today is to celebrate as a community the efforts of our High School Certificate 2020 highest performing students. To announce the students and their outstanding achievements, I invite to the stage Mr. Bullock, our Stage 6 Academic Coordinator. I also invite our Director of Teaching and Learning, Mrs. Miller, to present these awards.
Special guests, teachers, parents, students and HSC students of 2020. It gives me great pleasure to announce the following Distinguished Achiever Awards for the 2020 HSC. To be awarded a Band 6, a student needs to gain a HSC mark of 90 out of 100 or more for a 2-unit course, or 45 out of 50 or more for a 1-unit course. In 2020, 36 young men at St Gregory's achieved a total of 84 Band 6 or E4 results. I will now announce these fine young men and their achievements, and I invite Mr. Brooks to present these awards. Please hold your applause until the end of each group of award recipients. Can I ask the distinguished achievers to make your way to the side of the hall, please? Harrison Barnett, Mathematics Advanced. Luke Davis, Aboriginal Studies. Riley Elias, Geography. In his absence, Hayden Goodwin, Mathematics Standard 2. Brian Hananethi, English Extension 1. Martin Henry, Legal Studies. In his absence, Angus Herbert, Mathematics Standard 2. In his absence, Benjamin McDermott, Industrial Technology. Lachlan Pryor, Mathematics Standard 2. Anthony Robinson, Legal Studies. Basil Romy, 2-unit Mathematics Advanced. Riley Simmons, Music 1. Lachlan Tucker, Industrial Technology. John T. Young, Geography. Michael Zapier, Geography. Please congratulate these students. Cooper Beltrami, Industrial Technology and Information Processes and Technology. Ignatius Fazio, Construction Examination and Industrial Technology. Harrison Kobek, Geography, Modern History. Matthew Lynch, Legal Studies, Mathematics Standard 2. Christopher Malone, Mathematics Standard 2, Music 1. Jake Nash, Mathematics Extension 1, Mathematics Advanced. Jack Pascoe, Investigating Science, Mathematics Standard 2. Samuel Potter, Geography and Mathematics Standard 2. In his absence, Zachary Rushkut, 1 unit Mathematics Extension 1 and 2 unit Mathematics Advanced. Lachlan Vella, Construction Examination and Industrial Technology. We please congratulate these students. Cameron McDonald, English Advanced, Legal Studies and Mathematics Advanced. Thomas Campbell, Biology, English Advanced, Mathematics Standard 2, Personal Development, Health and Physical Education. Maximilian Giuliano, English Extension 1, Business Studies, English Advanced, Studies of Religion 2. Justin Jose, Mathematics Extension 1, Geography, Mathematics Advanced, and Studies of Religion 2. Joshua Lacazio, English Advanced, Legal Studies, Mathematics Advanced, and Studies of Religion 2. Carl Rushworth, English Advanced, Legal Studies, Mathematics Standard 2, and Music 1. Benjamin Tabor, English Advanced, Geography, Legal Studies, Studies of Religion 2. In his absence, Jeremiah Fisher, English Extension 1, English Advanced, Geography, Legal Studies, and Modern History. Jackson Skinner, English Advanced, Geography, Legal Studies, Modern History, and Studies of Religion 2. Sanjeev Weerasingham, Mathematics Extension 1, Chemistry, English Advanced, Legal Studies, Mathematics Advanced, and Studies of Religion 2. And David Devekis, Mathematics Extension 1, English Advanced, Geography, Mathematics Advanced, and Modern History. Please congratulate our distinguished achievers for 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. I would now call on our Deputy Principal, Mr. Paul Brooks, to introduce our keynote speaker for today's ceremony.
Good morning, distinguished guests, members of the Brothers community, parents, staff and boys. This morning, on behalf of the St Gregory's College community, it's my great pleasure and honour to formally welcome our guest speaker to our High Achievers Assembly. Brother Darren Burge is the Vice Provincial of the Marist Brothers in the province of Australia. And in this role, he oversees the day-to-day operations of very wide and numerous Marist ministries and communities of brothers around Australia and Oceania, including our Marist schools. Prior to his current appointment a couple of years ago to Vice Provincial, Brother Darren demonstrated his very impactful and highly effective educational leadership through his leadership successfully of two Marist schools, the John Burns School at Lewisham from 2018 to 2013, and then more recently the principalship of St Augustine's College in Cairns from 2014 to 2018. Brother Darren also has a connection with St Gregory's College, having served as a boarding coordinator here for a number of years and been a member of the Brothers community. And Brother Darren is also currently the chair of the newly formed College Advisory Council at St Gregory's College. Please join with me in giving a very special welcome to Brother Darren Burge.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, staff, students, parents, and especially the young men from 2020 who have succeeded so well in their studies. It's fantastic for me to be here again after so many years. As Mr. Brooks said, I was here for 5 years, about 20 years ago. And there was always something special about this school. It had an incredible spirit, a spirit of camaraderie and mateship amongst the students, and there was a wonderful relationship between the staff and the students. It was always an exceptional school in that regard, so it's delightful to be back here. I especially want to make comment about the young men sitting in front of us who have succeeded so well. They obviously have taken a journey through this school, and I'm sure there's many stories that they can tell and their parents can tell about that journey. Some of those parts of the journey would have been pretty tough. There would have been a lot of hard work. There would have been setbacks, obstacles in their way, but they stuck at their journey and they've succeeded in this way, and all credit to them. So I especially congratulate them. One of the wonderful things about having an assembly like this, apart from acknowledging that success, is for you guys, the rest of the student body, to be seeing these young men who you've gone to school with and who have succeeded. Because if I was sitting in your chair, I'd be saying, I can succeed in that way myself. These are young men who have been with us. They're from our area, they're from our school, the same background. I too can achieve that. So if I was sitting in year 11, I'd especially be focused on that concept, and I'd be thinking about what I could achieve and how these young men could inspire me. If I was in year 8, I'd be thinking the same about my future. So I hope that as you sit here today and as you watch people cross the stage, you think about what your capacities are, what your future is, because these guys have set a level of academic success which is quite extraordinary. One of the best in the history of the college, I believe. It can be done. And a culture of success academically comes from that belief, because the talent is there. And so I want to say a few things about academic success as part of my speech today. I believe academic success, and this may sound strange, is a team sport. It's a team sport because it involves students, staff and parents, and a whole range of other people who have an impact on a young person's academic growth. Everyone has to work together. But I speak directly to the students today about a few essential ingredients, I would call them, to achieving your best academically. Firstly, you are at an optimum time for growth in your life. You only have to look at yourself. You know that you're physically growing all the time. You know that at the start of this year, you've probably got a new set of clothes, a new set of shoes. You are growing. Your brain is doing the same. So you have to take responsibility to maximise that. Your brain is going to head in the right direction for your academic growth. You have to leverage off that and do the best you can. And there's ways of doing it. Firstly, you need to have a growth mindset. What I mean by that is you need to believe you can grow. That's the first thing. You need to have a positive attitude. And I want to use an example of a sporting hero, and I'm a bit of a cricket tragic, but Stephen Waugh, who was the captain of the Australian cricket team some years ago, and many of you may have seen him play, some of you may not, but I'm sure most of you know who he is. He had a 17-year career in Test cricket. He started very young, but there was a very interesting thing in his story, and it's about the growth mindset. There are two parts to his cricketing career. And keeping in mind, of course, that at the end of his cricketing career, he got into an elite group. He ended up with an average of, say, 53, I think, 53 or 54 in Test match cricket. Very few people ever do that. Virat Kohli is at about 55. Steve Smith's in his 60s with averages. Quite extraordinary. So he's in an elite group. But what's interesting about this is as he tracks his own career and reflects on his own career, he talks about the fact there were two parts to that career. The first was when he had an average of around 40. And he said, and I was fascinated by this, he said, one of the reasons for this average, I believe, as I reflect back on my life's journey and my career, is doubt, self-doubt. Because I was always questioning whether I should be in the Australian team, whether I was good enough. And through setbacks and through being dropped and through determination and experience, over time, he developed the self-belief that he could be in the team, that he was good enough to be at that international level. And that attitude and that positivity changed everything because his mindset changed. And in that mindset, he started to consistently change his results. So you can actually track, and he can track and talk about the fact that in the first part of his career, he had this sort of data, if you want to call it that, these sorts of results. And when he changed his attitude over time and with experience, it went to a different level. It was all about self-belief. So I believe that self-belief and having a growth mindset is absolutely essential as a good foundation. If you don't believe, if you're sitting there as a student today and you don't believe you can be like these guys, you will never achieve it. It's just not possible. So it starts with self-belief. The second one is have goals and have realistic goals. If you're a student that, say, for example, averages around 70 in most subjects that you do, well, then have a goal, a realistic one. Don't have a goal for 95 in every subject this year, but have a goal for 70 to 80. But of course, you've got to do something about that. You can't just have the goal. You've got to have some strategies that go with it. You've got to have ways of achieving that. You've got to change things. And that's the tricky part, because people get into patterns and they don't like to change. But I think you can. So you need to change the way you do things, because as I've often said to some of my students, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. Because that's the fact of the matter. Change is caused by you and by different strategies. So for example, if you add an extra half an hour to your study regime or your homework regime at night, a half an hour, and you do study, say, 6 times a week, there's 3 hours extra study a week. And over the course of a term, there's 30 hours. That is going to make an impact. You may be a person that sits back in a classroom and doesn't ask a question. You're too shy to ask a question, or you couldn't be bothered. I would suggest that a little strategy you could have is you make sure you find out why you got the result you got. Go and ask the teacher questions. Participate in the lessons. And let me tell you, I have spoken to students that have made these changes and their results changed enormously. I've seen so many examples of it. So I would encourage you to do that. And I want to say something about feedback, because feedback is a team sport. And what I mean by that is the feedback that you get from staff, and teachers would know that feedback to students is a critical factor in changing academic success. So the feedback needs to be thorough, and it needs to be thoughtful, and it needs to be targeted. But when you receive that feedback, you need to listen to it. I've seen too many students over the years get their feedback from me and say, oh, I've done very well, I'm happy about that, and put it on the desk. Or I didn't do so well and don't want to know about it. So I would suggest that feedback is critical. Parents need to look at feedback. Parents need to ask their students, their sons or daughters, why they've got the results they've got. They've got to talk to people, their sons, about that. So there's a role for parents in feedback. The other thing I'd like to say is resilience. And what I mean by that is, if you strike obstacles along the way, if you have setbacks, if you have failures, if you don't perform to the level that you'd like, don't be discouraged by it. Use it as a learning experience. It's interesting to note that Thomas Edison was the person that created the light bulb. Thomas Edison, we wouldn't have these lights here today if Thomas Edison didn't create the light bulb. A critical person in our history. It's interesting to note, he tried to create the light bulb 1,000 times before he got it right. And he learnt from his experience. He learnt from failing, and then he improved, and that's what led him to there. And the same is true for you. So I would encourage you strongly to think about those things. Albert Einstein, there's one of the greatest geniuses in history. He couldn't speak until he was 4 years of age, and he couldn't read till he was 7. And in fact, his school principal thought he had a mental handicap. And he has an incredible impact on the history of physics and science in this world. So anything is possible. And I'd like to quote from Michael Jordan, arguably the best basketballer in history. He says this, "I have missed more than 900 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." And of course, I've heard Michael, and I've read things that he's written about the fact that failure is absolutely essential to success. And I'm sure these guys here at times have had their moments where they've failed, where there's been tough things happen, and they've managed to overcome it. So resilience is so important. The other thing I believe in academic success is great communication, great relationships with your teachers, between yourselves, to work and encourage each other. And Marcel and Champagne, of course, used to have a little saying, more is learnt through your eyes than your ears. More is learnt through your eyes than your ears. And what he meant was, you learn more by watching the example of the adults around you. That's why teachers need to be lifelong learners. Teachers need to be changing and developing and growing because the students are watching you. You can watch each other as well and be encouraged by each other, so you work as a team to achieve something outstanding. And that's what I'm talking about this morning when I started, that if you watch these young men here who have succeeded so well, then you'll see what success can look like and know that it's possible. So finally, be positive, have a growth mindset. Your body's growing, everything's growing. Make the most of it while you can. Set yourself some goals, be realistic, have strategies. Talk to each other, support each other, talk to your teachers. Parents, talk to your sons about their academic success. There is reams of research to show that parents who show direct interest in their son or daughter's academic studies, it will lead to better results. There is no question about it. So it's a team effort, it's a team sport, and I encourage you to use these young men as your inspiration. So thank you very much for listening to what I've had to say. I hope that something from today's talk can make you think about your academic year and that the school as a whole can continue to build on this result and go beyond it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you again, Brother Darren, for taking time out of your schedule to address the college on this important occasion. Please accept this small gift on behalf of the college. To announce the Special Achievement Awards today, please welcome to the stage the Year 12 Coordinator from 2020, Mr. Pat Newell. I also invite our Deputy Principal, Mr. Paul Brooks, to present these awards.
Thank you, Lachlan. Today we would like to congratulate our students identified for special achievements in practical and performance subjects. We will begin with our students who were nominated for Art Express and have had their works selected for exhibition. It is always a rare privilege to have a student nominated for this prestigious statewide Visual Arts Award. This year we had 3 students nominated and accepted for Art Express. These students were Max Clissold, Flynn Grahala, and in his absence, Jodie Weiss. Could I ask those boys to come up, please? The InTech 2020 is an exhibition of outstanding major projects developed by HSC Industrial Technology students. The student pre-nominated for this exhibition this year was Lachlan Tucker for his Industrial Technology Multimedia Major Project. Lachlan, could you come forward, please? Our next student won the MacArthur Workplace Learning Program Student Work Placement Award for Metal and Engineering in 2020. He was also the recipient of the Woodmaker of the Year Student Commendation Award for his outstanding industrial technology timber major project. Please acknowledge Ignatius Fazio. Sorry. Encore is a program of outstanding performances and compositions by students from the HSC music examinations. The following students have been acknowledged for this award. Christopher Malone for his Viva Voce, Carl Rushworth for his composition, and Riley Simmons for his Viva Voce. Would you please join with me in congratulating these young men on such a fine performance? To be ranked in the top students across the state is a tremendous achievement. This year we had a student who was ranked third in the state, third out of 4,431 students for geography. Please congratulate David DeVekis. Each year, the Premier of New South Wales and Minister for Education recognise an elite group of students for their all-round outstanding performance in the HSC. The award is presented to students who attain a Band 6 or Band E4 in at least 10 units of their pattern of study. This year, the Premier's Award for All-Round Excellence is presented to David DeVekis. Also to Jackson Skinner. As well as Sanjeev Weerasingham. I'd ask you once again to acknowledge these young men. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newell and Mr. Brooks, and again, congratulations to these outstanding students from our 2020 Year 12 cohort. For our musical item today, we have something very different and quite fitting for our COVID era. Carl Rushworth elected to compose 3 pieces for his HSC music in 2020. 2 of the pieces received a mark of 100% and were nominated for Encore, which is a short list of the top electives in the state. The composition you're about to hear began as an experimentation of different instruments being played live. The genre and style of the piece is of a smooth jazz feel. What you see on the screen is the score of music Carl created using the program Sibelius. Try and follow as you listen to the piece aria.
Thank you, Carl, and congratulations on your on-call nomination. That brings us to our final set of awards for today, and to announce these awards, I call to the stage the College Director of Studies, Mr. Rick Bombardieri.
This year, I'm proud to announce that 18 students from St Gregory's College achieved an ATAR, the university's ranking, of above 90. The following students are to be highly commended on their achievement. I will announce each student and their ATAR that they achieved. To present these awards, I welcome Mr. McMaster to the stage. Please also hold your applause until I've announced all of our students. Can I also ask all of our above 90 ATAR students to come to the side? Martin Henry, 90.25. Harrison Barnett, 92.10. Matthew Lynch, 92.75. Jacob Add, 92.80. Michael Zapier, 93.90. Jake Nash, 94.15. Cameron McDonald, 94.30. Carl Rushworth, 94.70. In his absence, Zachary Roshikutz, 95.70. Thomas Campbell, 96.0. Maximilian Uliano, 96.35. Benjamin Tabor, 96.95. In his absence, Jeremiah Fisher, 97.10. Joshua Locascio, 97.25. Justin Jose, 97.75. Sanjeev Weerasingam, 98.50. Jackson Skinner, 99.25. Finally, it gives me great pleasure to announce the College Ducks for 2020, achieving 99.85 in his ATAR. Please congratulate our Ducks, David DeVekis. And while they leave the stage, can you please congratulate our award winners once again? And before David disappears off the stage, I'll welcome him up to the stage to deliver his Ducks speech.
Thank you, sir. Earn the right. First time I heard these three words was from my under-12 soccer coach. After one particular training session, our theory homework for that week was to go home and write those three words, earn the right, earn the right, earn the right, over and over and over again in our workbooks. Of course, it seemed a little ridiculous at the time, considering we were a group of young and elite athletes aspiring to pursue a pathway in soccer. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. Mr. McMaster, Brother Darren Burge, special guests, members of the college leadership team, members of the St. Gregory's Marist Brothers community, parents and caregivers, staff, students, and fellow Year 12 high achievers. Good morning. Today we gather to celebrate the outstanding 2020 HSC results. But more importantly, we gather to acknowledge the self-sacrifice, hard work, and resilience of not just all the men sitting before us today, but all of the 123 young men who completed the HSC here at St. Greg's last year. When I think about last year, you know, we were men who were focused and disciplined and determined and dedicated to the task that lay ahead. We were men who constantly checked in on our mates. We were men who were able to laugh easily at times. We had balanced lifestyles. We were men who were respectful to staff, our families, and students alike. We appreciated all of their support and are extremely grateful for their never-ending belief to achieve our goals. And so we say thank you to you all. And as much as we like to believe that the HSC is purely an individual effort, it is also a team effort. Every student, every subject, every mark matters. All the recent successes are a credit to all of us as we earned it. But how do we earn it? What does it mean to earn the right? Well, to earn the right means something more. It means something bigger. It means something better. To earn the right is a journey. It's the way you go about doing things. It's how you take accountability for your actions. It's how you take ownership of your mistakes. It's how you apply yourself to whatever your goal is and completing all the necessary steps required and more to solidify your worthiness of such a result. It is a will to make sacrifices. It is a will to work hard. It is a will to persevere through the difficult times in order to reap the rewards. But by no means is this limited to an academic environment, whether it's sport, co-curricular, or work in general. In short, earn the right simply means if you want something, you got to roll up your sleeves, go out there and get it. So how do we do it? Well, I've always believed that if you want to earn the right, you've got to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you really want? Because the way I see it, if you don't know what you want, what is there to earn? What are you actually earning? And of course, it doesn't have to be HSC related. It could be scoring a try. It could be making the debating team. It could be getting that apprenticeship you really want. Whatever it is, once you decide what you want, write it down. Writing down your goals helps you on that journey to earning the right. In fact, according to a recent study conducted by Dr. Gower Matthews at the Dominican University of California, he concluded that if you write down your goals, you are 42% more likely to achieve them. So dream big, because you never know how far your goals may take you. If you want to earn the right, you must be honest with yourself. You know, it's very, very easy to get confused into thinking that we know everything, we are capable of everything, and, you know, nothing can stop us, we're invincible. But the sad reality is that, the harsh reality is that there are things we simply do not know. There are things we simply cannot do, and there are things that can't stop us. Early last year, there was so much to study, so much to learn, so much to know, so many things to juggle at the same time, and of course, the COVID-19 pandemic, that this truth hit me like a ton of bricks, and I'm sure all of us, hit us all like a ton of bricks. And I found myself asking these questions. Look, I don't understand this, I don't understand that, I don't know what I'm doing here, I don't know what I'm doing there. But then I was honest with myself. And I added one tiny word to the end of those all those questions, which made all the difference. That word was yet. I don't understand this yet. I don't know what I'm doing yet. In other words, I was being honest with myself, and I was saying, look, I don't know it now, but if I put in time and if I put in effort, I certainly will. Gentlemen, don't compare yourself to others, because everyone is different. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for the gentleman sitting next to you. But if you put in time, and if you put in effort, and if you be honest with yourself, you will get there. Finally, if you want to earn the right, don't take shortcuts. During the HSC and school life in general, many students, including myself at numerous times, were in such a hurry to achieve a certain result that we started to consider shortcuts. You know, those tiny tricks to make work easier and to achieve your goal quicker. But the reality is that there is no substitute for time and effort. The key to achieving any goal is to acknowledge what is required, face it, and take one step at a time, day by day. In this way, you will be able to develop yourself as an individual and develop your skills, which will only benefit you in the future. And I just want to give you a very quick example of what I mean by this. Last year, for homework once, we had to complete a handwritten response, handwritten essay, and we were given the option to type it. The majority of the students chose to type their response, and they saved a tremendous amount of time. But I deliberately chose to handwrite my response, and although it took me double the time and double the effort, that choice definitely benefited me when I was in this hall doing my HSC exams when I had to write for 3 hours straight. So don't take shortcuts. Ladies and gentlemen, I started today with 3 words. And I went on to explain those 3 words in being like a journey. And we've heard that word a few times today, journey. And just like those three words, the HSC is a journey. During the HSC, you will have many lessons to learn, many problems to solve, many experiences to enjoy and not enjoy at times. But I believe the greatest achievement anyone can accomplish is the belief you manifest. The courage you build, the character you develop, but above all, the man that you become. And if you fall, because you will get bruises along the way, if your habit is to get back up again, your life, your destiny will be one of success. By holding positive thoughts and habitually taking positive actions, you, gentlemen, you create a character destined for upliftment. A character destined for earning the right. But just like all journeys, it begins with one step forward. I've said it many times before last year, and I'll say it again. It starts with you, and you only. So, earn the right. That is your choice. The challenge is over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, David. It is so great to hear your wonderful words of inspiration for all of us to take on board as we move forward. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and our Year 12 high-achieving students as they enter into their new endeavours. Please know that you are all very welcome back here at the college at any given time. I now invite Mr. McMaster to deliver the Principal's address.
Thank you, Charlie, and very hard act to follow, always following David. David speaks so beautifully, and following also Brother Darren today. And I know we've been here a long time this morning, but it's been a wonderful celebration of learning and of achievement today, and we will continue to do that over the next few minutes as I speak to you. So Brother Darren, Dr. John Robinson, members of the Marist community here at St Greg's, our staff members, our parents, carers, and our students, and a very, very warm welcome to our returning high-achieving students from last year. Gentlemen, I address this to you. It's wonderful that we're able to invite you back and your parents so that we can congratulate you on your outstanding achievements from last year. This is one of the highlights in our calendar every year. It's such an important day, and we certainly feel great to have you here and warmly welcome you and wish to acknowledge everything that you've achieved. I also acknowledge, as we heard from Mr. Ashby and from one of our students today, an acknowledgement of country, and I too wish to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we gather today. I want to thank Brother Darren. On short notice earlier this week, we invited Brother Darren to give an amazing address today. I think a very quality address to you. And I think the advice and reflections that he provided today should be taken on by all of us. It's wonderful to have Brother Darren back at the college with us on this auspicious occasion, and I sincerely thank him for his ongoing support of the college, of the Marist brothers, and of Marist education nationally. David, thank you for your address today. You could hear a pin drop in this auditorium. You are a very worthy Dux of the college for 2020. You're an outstanding role model, David, for all of us. And I'm sure that we will continue to hear great things about your progress in this next phase of your life. I'm also sure that we'll see you back here on many occasions because you're the sort of person who loves this college and you're committed to giving back and to assisting the college to continue raising the bar. Today in our assembly, we have rightfully acknowledged and affirmed our highest achieving students from last year. Our students with ATARs over 90, our Band 6 subject recipients, our special achievers. I want to congratulate you all, our now St Greg's old boys of the school. I would personally like to congratulate David on being named the Dux of the college for his ATAR of 99.85. And for those people who probably don't know the system, the highest you can get in an ATAR is 99.95. So David is amongst an elite group of probably the top 500 students in the state for 2020. I think that is worth a round of applause. Well done, David. I also congratulate him on achieving third place in the state in geography and for being placed on the All-Rounders Achievers list. I also congratulate Jackson Skinner and Sanjeev Weerasingham for also being placed on that elite group in the All-Rounders Achievers list. Now, along with David, Jackson and Sanjeev, I congratulate all our high achieving students, many of whom are with us today and celebrating this great achievement. We're very proud of you and want you to know that we are with you every step of your next journey. But today is an opportunity to say thank you for raising the educational bar, something that we're all extremely proud to do at St Greg's. Continue to grow the strong academic culture of the college and for being the best role models for your fellow students. Please also spare a thought for all of the students, and David acknowledged this, who achieved their PBs last year, some of them, or many of them not with us today, because they too put in huge efforts in a very challenging year. And they too are high achievers, and we should never forget the students who work hard, achieve their dreams, but probably don't receive that public recognition. And I know that a number of our graduating class of 2020 have been highly successful in gaining traineeships, apprenticeships, great educational and great employment opportunities due to their excellent work ethic, their well-developed interview skills and their strong resumes. I'd also like to use this opportunity today to provide just a little bit of advice to all the other students here today. And these pieces of advice come from my own reflections and observations over my teaching career, which this year spans 41 years. I hope all our students can reflect on this advice, and it piggybacks beautifully with what both Brother Darren and David said in their addresses today. Now, we know that life always presents us with challenges and problems on a daily basis. We only need to look at the challenges we faced last year at the height of the COVID pandemic. Yet, despite the challenges that we face, it's not so much what happens to us that actually makes the difference. It's rather what we do with what happens to us that determines where we will end up, what we will have, and how we will be transformed by these experiences. And I can certainly say that while there was a downside to the COVID pandemic, there are many learnings and many advantages that have come from it. It's very easy to strive towards the attainment of our goals, and we've heard about that word today. When the oceans are calm, everything's going well, and there's nothing standing in our way. However, if we're not mentally prepared for the moment something begins to stir the waters and rock the boat from side to side, then it sends us into a panic and we struggle to deal with the circumstances and the consequences. We see these problems and challenges as larger than life and way beyond our capabilities and our means. Now, I'm pretty sure that you've all heard me say, on many occasions, there is no such thing as cheap success. If you want to succeed, you have to pay the price. And the road to success is a long one, and there's lots of obstacles, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. Now, no wonder some people, lots of people, give up because it gets too tough, too many obstacles. And only the strongest have the persistence to to keep moving forward. And these are the people who succeed. Now, persistence is absolutely essential. In fact, persistence is one of the most important characteristics that all of us need to develop to gain success. There's no other way to succeed but by developing persistence in our life. And here's just a couple of ways you can do it, students. I think these have been picked up already, so I won't emphasise them too much. But the first one is to watch and learn from successful people. You've heard that today. Understanding that successful people do need persistence to achieve success will inspire you. So look out for those people. Take on board some of those people in your own life, your parents, the people around you, your teachers, your coaches, people who have developed that persistence in their life. Expect the journey will be tough. It's not going to be easy. But if you recognise that it will be tough, you begin with the right expectation. Don't underestimate the time it's going to take. Just like the time, recognise the difficulty. Because everyone wants to achieve instant success. We want it tomorrow or today. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Make sure you understand why you're doing something. So ask the why. Why am I doing this? And if you recognise the why, then the going becomes so much easier. As David said, as Brother Darren said, recognise how to handle failure. Because we all fail, every single one of us. But failure is necessary, it's inevitable. And it certainly sets us on the right path to success because we learn from our mistakes. So never be afraid to fail, but always learn from your mistakes. Find people who support you. I know that this group of students in Year 12 were hard-working, committed, dedicating. But as David clearly pointed out to us, they worked together. And my message to you all yesterday, students, is this is not a dog-eat-dog mentality. This is not a place where we're actively competing with the person sitting next to us. We're supporting them, we're encouraging them, we're working with our teacher. So find ways to find people who support you. And I can guarantee that every single staff member in this auditorium this morning is here to do that. And I think lastly, if you can minimise your anxiety and stress, realise that this is a journey. It does take time and it will be tough. So accept that and allow the journey to take place. I want to conclude my address today by thanking our staff, our wonderful staff, both teaching and non-teaching, who have cared for our students, our high-achieving students, not only in the way that they've taught, but in their well-being, and they've certainly educated from their heart. They have given everything. They were exhausted at the end of last year because of the efforts that they put in. But what a beautiful reward on the 18th of December last year when those HSC results became available and the success that we gained. And it's a great credit to our teaching staff and our non-teaching staff at the college. So today I wish to personally thank our staff for their love and their dedication in their work as educators. They do an amazing job every single day. And finally, just to our Year 12 high-achieving students, go forth into the world with the knowledge that the community at St Greg's is always here to support you, and we will continually pray for your success. Don't forget us, come back to us regularly, and tell us how life is going on beyond St Greg's. We all wish you every happiness and success in the future, and God bless to all of you. Thank you.
This concludes our HSC High Achievers Assembly. I would ask our parents, family members, and our HSC 2020 students to remain behind for photos. Once the official party has left the room, you will be directed to leave under the direction of your year leader. Please stand as our official party leaves the ceremony. The Subtuum will be played. I know it's hard, boys, but please do not sing because of our current COVID restrictions.
Sumptuum praesidium confugimus, confugimus, Sancta Dei genitrix, Sancta Dei genitrix, nostras deprecationes, ne despicias, necessitatibus nostris, sera periculis conctis, libera nos semper, Virgo gloriosa et benedicta. Sub suum praesidium confugimus, confugimus, Sancta Dei genitrix, Sancta Dei genitrix.